as these folks walk up, I just want to say it really has been an honor and a privilege to be a co-chair of the capital campaign. This audacious initiative that started a little over a year ago, and today we're just going to give you a little bit of an update on the things that have happened since we last talked to you a year ago. Again, my name is Bernie. I was one of the volunteers from Castleton that responded to the RFP that Grand Farm put out to create a space for this innovation center. And we're so excited about how much has been accomplished in a short period of time. And today, we're going to hear from some of the folks that really made this all happen. So we'll continue to have the folks filter up, and we'll reserve the time up here, I guess, for the people that really made it happen. I'm going to first introduce you to our Lieutenant Governor, who had a piece in this endeavor, and I'll let her speak to the things that happened out in Bismarck. So, Lieutenant Governor Tammy Miller.
Perfect. Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you.
Well, hello again. As I said earlier, this is an exciting day for all things autonomous, and especially Grand Farm. It is my great pleasure to announce that Grand Farm has achieved their Phase 1 fundraising goal, and they have raised $15.1 million. Let's give it up for Grand Farm. I have been following Greg, Emerging Prairie and Grand Farm for many years. I just really believe in Greg and his vision for the entrepreneurial community. And years ago, when I was the board chair at the Greater Fargo-Moorhead Economic Development Corporation, Emerging Prairie was just getting started. And the executive committee at the EDC decided to help support Emerging Prairie in the entrepreneurial ecosystem they were trying to create in our community. What a great investment that was. A few years later, I too got to serve on the steering committee for Grand Farm and got to help with the early formation of the Grand Farm, and it is so amazing, and I am so proud to see what has happened. With that, though, I could go on forever, but instead I want to thank everyone who has contributed to this $15.1 million capital campaign. Thank you so much, and also thank you to the North Dakota State Legislature that approved the $10 million matching grant. Just so you all know, that was ARPA money. It was federal money, so not taxpayer dollars. But it's a great day, a great time for the Grand Farm. And on behalf of Governor Burgum and myself, I want to say again, thank you and congratulations. And we can't wait to see what is next to happen at the Grand Farm. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. And that public-private partnership, again, was instrumental. The legislators that made this happen are here to speak a little bit about why they wanted to champion Grand Farm. So I'd like to now introduce Senator Ron Sorvag.
Thank you. Before I just say a few minutes, there's Senator Larry Luick sitting out in the crowd. He needs to get up here too, and we're going to have a picture. He's chairman of our Ag Committee in the North Dakota Senate, and there's nothing agriculture that happens in his state that he isn't a very important part of. So I saw him sitting there. He must have missed the message. Anyway, this is exciting. This is what it's all about. This is the North Dakota Senate, and I can only speak when we went in special session and we had this request for $10 million of ARPA money to invest in this Grand Farm, one of the futures of agriculture. And it wasn't necessarily an easy sell, but as the story got told more and more and more, there was surprising how much buy-in there was. And I think why it's important, because even this last session, we put millions more into research. I think there's a mindset that's come about that our responsibility as a legislature, if we want this happening in North Dakota, and the United States, we need to lay seed money, and that's what we did. But at the end of the day, our millions are a lot of money, but they're seed money. All these sponsors you'll see the names of, that's what's stepping up. That's what's the future of this. And this autonomous, and I love it, the term nation, because this is about all of you. A lot of you aren't from North Dakota, but you do realize that we're in this together, and I'm going to stay on the ag sector because Representative O'Brien will talk a little more with Grand Sky. But We fight over fuels, we fight over a lot of things, but people are going to keep eating. And we need to get more efficient. We don't have the workforce. We need ag to be as most efficient to producing every bushel they can to feed people. They're always going to eat. And Grand Farm is part of that. And there's all of you from around the country being part of it, I think, is really what it is. We hear even in the research areas, this iHub formed. It's quite a few states coordinating research. It's the future. So I want to thank you, and I do want to thank the rest of the senators that were involved in this, because they did understand that, and we will continue to work hard to do seed money. Bring your ideas, bring your dreams, and I know Greg Tavine, wherever he is, and there he is, he'll continue to bring them, but then we need private to step up. And you guys have done it, and we appreciate it. So thank you, and this is an extremely exciting day for North Dakota and for agriculture in the United States.
Thank you, Senator. And now a few words from Representative Emily O'Brien.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Emily O'Brien, a state representative from District 42. I serve the surrounding area for the University of North Dakota and Grand Sky and Grand Forks, which, by the way, Potato Bowl is next weekend. Come join us for the world's largest French fry feed and some UND football. It felt really good to say that in NDSU territory. This morning, as I was leaving for Fargo, I was thinking about the remarks I was going to make. And heavy on my mind was my daughter, who has preschool orientation right now this second. Our awesome daycare provider brought her, but our kids are our why. And so we support these opportunities and innovations for our kids. As an intern 10 years ago at the Center for Innovation and president of Dakota Venture Group, I had the opportunity to see many world-renowned innovations and technologies. But in reality, they were all happening in our own backyard, right here in North Dakota. The investments we are making today are investments in our future. How cool is it that North Dakota is #1 and 2, leading the nation in several different commodities? But we also lead the nation as #1 for drone operations, but we have an opportunity to continue our #1 track record, and that is in autonomous technology. We have the perfect landscape to foster this ecosystem. Visionaries across the state see that too, both public and private. Public-private partnerships is what's going to help continue to move the needle here in North Dakota. We heard this morning how many diversified partners are playing a role in this autonomous sector. I'm proud to represent our legislature and our statewide support for not only Grand Farm, but all of our autonomous funding. Another awesome program I have to give a shout out to is LIFT, prime sponsored by Representative Nathy, which I saw in the audience. You better get up here for the picture. And Senator Kurt Kroon, I see you too, so you better get up here too. Senator Kroon helped get it across the finish line in the Senate in 2019, and more than $32 million in loans have been awarded. Speaking of, I'm going to pick on all of the legislative colleagues that are here to either give a wave or stand up, please, and then get up here. Please stop us, educate us on what you're working on, what you're doing, how can we work together, and how can we provide value in North Dakota. Looking forward to meeting as many of you as I can, and thank you, Grand Farm and Autonomous Nation, for hosting today.
Thank you, Emily. And of course, along with the public money, we've had a lot of private sector buy-in to this vision, this project. A lot of companies locally that have said yes to this opportunity, and we've attracted some people that are a little further out of the area. And so now we want to hear a few comments from one of those investors outside of the region a little bit, Ryan Teague.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. It's great to see so many here supporting the idea of autonomous technology, but also being part of this connected ecosystem that the broader Grand Farm is putting together to help make sure that we are working to feed America in innovative ways. My name is Ryan Teague. As was mentioned, I'm the Vice President of Strategy and Innovation with Farm Credit Services of America. We're based in Omaha. We're part of the broader farm credit system, and we are serving agricultural producers through financing options, credit, and insurance products across 5 states. So we actually operate in Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Kansas. So we don't cover Fargo as part of our territory directly. But what Grand Farm is doing is important to the nation. We really feel like there's broad scalability to what they're doing. The unique mix of the people, the technology, the ideas, the community connections really stands out amongst the many open innovation ecosystems that we've looked at. And so it's one of many that we're working with, but Grand Farm stands out as a really high potential opportunity for us to help to give producers the tools that they need to continue to evolve. I want to also mention that the contribution that we made was in collaboration with actually 3 other farm credit system entities. So Ag Country, Compeer, and CoBank were a big part of this, and actually Ag Country led this effort in bringing this opportunity to us. So we want to thank them and just acknowledge the broader support of the farm credit system and what's happening here. It was mentioned earlier today, but I've always said that producers really are just the quintessential entrepreneurs. They have this innovative spirit that helps them to make technology work, to make things work, to get things done, no matter what life throws at them, no matter what the weather throws at them, no matter what the economy throws at them. And so we really owe it to them as those serving agriculture to be as innovative as them. And I think what Grand Farm is doing is it's allowing us to connect the dots, to bring the people, the ideas, the technology together, to make sure that we are as innovative as them. And so at the end of the day, what I want to celebrate and what I hope you'll celebrate is that Grand Farm is enabling not just those farm families sitting around the table making decisions for their operation, but really all families sitting around the dinner table eating meals that are enabled by this advancement in technology. So we've contributed, and I hope that all of you will continue to participate in this ecosystem and to help it to grow into the bigger scale that we know that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you for those encouraging words and for that commitment, Ryan. We really appreciate the momentum that has helped us have in this initiative. To bring it home, I'd like to bring the co-chair of the Capital Campaign Committee to share a few words, Barry Batchelor.
Thank you. So we're done with the first phase. We raised $15.1 million. That money will be the catalyst for what's going to happen out in Castleton. I think you'll see some buildings going up there. You'll see some farmland being tilled by very advanced equipment. This is an incredibly important thing. Today we're talking about autonomous nation. Many of you folks, and I've said this before, are going to live and work alongside intelligent, thoughtful mobile equipment. Your lives will be changed. The lives of people who depend on this equipment will be changed. It's really going to be an important thing. There's the labor shortage in agriculture is real and it's going to grow. So the ability for equipment to be smart and to work to augment the farm operations that are going on is going to be critically important. There's 3 technologies that we're really looking at that will be incorporated through our business partners. One of those is a fat pipe, and there's some people out here that are talking about the ability to create a very big data highway between mobile equipment and farmsteads. Trilogy, there's Mr. Woodward out here. If you ever have a moment, you should talk with him. That's a focus of his activities. The second one is artificial intelligence that we hear a lot about. We hear a lot of negative things about that because of its impact sociologically, but its impact technically is going to be incredible. And the AI stuff that will happen in the cloud will augment the AI stuff that's happening on the field, and the ability for equipment to do things in a very intelligent manner is right on the horizon. Finally, I think we need to think about fully autonomous agricultural equipment, both on-highway and off-highway, and we'll be seeing some of that in the next 10 years as well. So this funding for the Grand Farm is a real catalyst for all these activities. This is a sandbox where a lot of people will be able to try out these new ideas, where they'll be able to experiment with the little r and big R stuff, and it's a huge import for this community and for this area. So thank you everybody for your contributions. I think you're going to have a great day today with the rest of the autonomous nation stuff.
I think that concludes the talking part of this little session, and now we're looking for the photographers. So the people that were called out, please come on up to the stage. I think really the importance of being recognized for these efforts is, the time is now. So come on up and let's get this picture taken.